But I can tell you about Mark. He did a wonderful job and is doing a wonderful job on keeping our website in order and much more attractive. And he's been posting, he created and has been posting our YouTube videos. Our Zoom meetings are being posted on our YouTube channel. He attends most of our board meetings, and things go real well in that. He contributes a lot, and we appreciate his efforts. Gladys, did I miss anything on Mark? Gladys, you locked up? You there?
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Mark's got the screen, and Mark, when it's time, go ahead and introduce Ed, and
okay.
we'll put it in your hands.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can?
Yep.
I can.
Okay. So there's two parts to this meeting tonight, and they're both related to the common video editing techniques. And Edwin's going to do part of it. I'm going to do part of it. It's going to be based on our experience with our individual video editing software that we individually use. So with that in mind, I currently use Corel Pinnacle Studio. I got this, I believe, either during the summer picnic or I got it at a Christmas party at DMA. It was, I think, 2 years old at the time. I used it for a couple years and liked it so much that I continued to update it. So I think I've been using it for 3 or 4 years. I purchase it over again every year. They don't really have an update. You basically just got to repurchase it. But right before Christmas, they put it on sale, you know, for like $40 or $50 below their normal pricing. And if you wait further after they first release it at that reduced price, they continue to give you add-ons. So I really wait till the last minute before Christmas because they'll start adding all these free add-ons to it.
Your audio, how?
What's that, Gladys?
Oh no, Jay's having trouble with hearing us. Jay Finley, and I'm not sure how to turn his audio on. But
well, that would be on his computer.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking out loud.
Okay, so there's two major parts of the software that comes with Pinnacle Studio. It's also made by Corel Draw or Corel. What we're looking at is the Pinnacle Studio portion of it, and this is the Pinnacle Studio or the Pinnacle Multicam Capture. So this allows me to capture up to 6 cameras, including the screen, any external cameras that I have connected to the computer. So I could have a webcam, I could be recording the screen, I can have additional USB cams also recording at the same time, up to 6 of them. So it's pretty much what I've been using for the last year or so, pretty extensively to create presentations right off my computer. So the basic functions of the Pinnacle Studio, you've got the video preview area there in the upper right. You've got the video track area, which you know, it starts off with 4 tracks, but you can, I don't remember how many tracks you can have. I've never used more than 4, but you can continue to add those tracks. You can turn those tracks on and off by the visual if you want to see it or if you don't want to hear it. So it's got these icons here that you could just turn them off and on while you're doing the work. You may have multiple audio tracks and you want to only hear one of them. you make multiple video tracks, and you can see one at a time.
Just a minute.
So it allows you to see that individually, or you can just have them all on. But that's what the video tracks are all about, and I'll talk more about that. So in the tool, and I'm just going to briefly show some of the toolbars. You've got the effects, you got transitions, you got sound effects, you got, add titles to your videos, montage and templates, a sound stage, a triple scoop music, and some sound effects. I don't actually use everything. I probably only use 10 or 15% of the entire program. I keep mine pretty basic and right to be a little more professional. It has a lot of bells and whistles to it if you want to use them. And then you've got the toolbar going across the middle of the software, right above the tracks, and those are just easy access. It's the same access you have on the left, same access you have in these tabs here at the top as well. But I'll talk about the ones I use a lot. I don't use the voiceover as much as I do based on the way I create my videos. I do use the audio mixer occasionally. It's got the multi-camera editor where you can edit multiple cameras. I use the split screen occasionally, and these are probably the biggest ones I use the most. Is the split the clips, delete the selected clips. If you have one selected, you can just hit the delete button on the keyboard, and that does the same thing. I use the snapshot a lot. I've played around with the markers, but I don't actively use that. And you've got the selection to turn your mouse into the selection part. You got slip, slide, and rolling, and stretch. That relates to the either picture or video that you have in the timeline. You could slide it and or stretch it to make it longer. If I have a picture in my timeline, I can stretch it. Well, when I stretch it, it increases the duration of that particular picture or video. It makes it appear in the video longer. And then you've got the trim mode, dynamic length transitions, magnet snapping, audio scrub, smart editing mode. But there's only about 3 of them that I actively use all the time. So here's a video that I have where I'm using this gallery transition here on the left here, and you'll see that there's 3 boxes here in the clip. So I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 different images. The first image and the last image are the same, but the 2 in between are different. I've also got a voiceover. So on my voiceover, I normally do the voiceover with my phone with the staff that I'm working with, and I have them record what they want to say in the video. So, and then I insert that in as an audio file, and then I could cut that in different pieces and put them where I want it, which I'll show in another area. So looking at this particular video here, and I'm not able to show the video, based on, because of Zoom, and you would only see about 1 frame every 50 frames anyway. So I kind of showing you pictures of what that video kind of looks like. So this video is a introduction video to all my videos at K-12. It's kind of a header type of, I use it as a header on all the videos so that I've got a consistent look and feel for all the videos I do for them. So I'm using 2 different effects here. The top 3 pictures are showing the logo, but you see this starburst coming across the screen. It goes from the lower right to the upper left, and it kind of just kind of goes across the screen as you're watching the video. And then when that's done, that picture of the screen that you see at the top is actually pulls back out, and you're looking at it as a picture frame on a wall. And then and this is part of the transition. It takes that and pulls it away, and then transitions over to the right to another picture on the wall, and then it kind of zooms up on that, as you see here in the bottom middle picture. And then it does the exact same thing as it did in this middle left picture. It zooms back out and then goes to the next picture on the wall on the far right and zooms in on that and displays that picture. So this first picture in the clip, it's looking at it, and then it zooms out, transitions over to the second picture, and then it then zooms back out and transitions over to the third picture, and then it transitions back over to the fourth picture. So it's you'd have to see the video to see the animation of that. I use this particular transition that was in the software because gallery is somewhat art related, and what I'm doing here is related to the K-12 art gallery in Tejas. So it had some relationship. I thought that would be a good header lead in for all the videos. So here's another video that I did. This is related to, and a lot of videos I do for K-12 are basically introductions to what their classes are. So if someone's interested in taking a class, this will educate them on what the class is about. This particular one is about pottery and making pottery. So I've got 3 tracks there that you can see. First track is the pictures in the video, and I take all my video with GoPro cameras when I do all my videos. And one of the options in the software is you right click on the image, and you'll get a menu bar, and I can detach that audio off of the video, and it pulls that audio down into the second track, and then I delete it because I don't use the audio from the GoPro camera. I then bring in a audio that I've recorded on my phone from one of the staff members, and I put it in the second track here. Then I use the third track to put background music so that you're not just hearing this person talking about this class, you have a very faint music background that she's talking over. So it kind of adds a little more depth to the sound. It's a very faint music though. It's generic music that I pulled off the internet that's free to use. So you got the 3 different tracks of what I'm using. In the video, there's these video pieces here, and the ones that don't have the little yellow striped are actually pictures. So all these in here that look dark are actually pictures. I have the lead-in video. I have a title on all of my videos. I have a title at the bottom, at the end of the video that talks about visiting K-12 website for more information. And then I end the video with the K-12 logo. And that's pretty consistent on all the videos I do for them. Now the ones that the video in the track 1 that have the yellow stripes on them, that's an indication that that video has been modified. It's been modified in 2 areas. One is I've increased the speed to reduce the size of the video. So this video is actually about 4.5 minutes. And then I also zoom up on that video so that you get a better picture of looking at the content of what the video is about. You're not looking at the entire room. This is actually what the video looks like, but within the software, I can dictate what I want um, where I want that video. I can have it any part of this video screen, but I've chosen to put it right there around where she is creating the pottery there on the wheel. I can control the zoom of that window, and if I have multiple videos that's zoomed up, I can be consistent by copying that number, or just make that number more rounded, like 74, and then use that on the others. Now, if you notice that this box is kind of, it's kind of on, it looks like the right side of the bottom and top is actually cocked up a little. Well, that's just the way the camera is on the tripod, and it just doesn't look level. So what I've done is I've rotated that. Well, on this particular example, I didn't, but I do on some videos where that box may be at a 45-degree angle related to the video. I can rotate that box so that it looks horizontal when I'm done, you know, with this zoom. And this zoom capability has two different features. You got the static zoom, where it's just static and you tell it where you want the size of it you want. And then you've got the animation, and I'll show you that later on. So there's two parts of this zoom feature. In this video, I've got two areas that I'm going to be talking about. One is this first area in the beginning of the video, and then I'll be talking about these three tracks here toward the middle of the video. The first three tracks are actually pictures, and they're everything in this video is all pictures. There's no video clips except for the header in this. Everything is pictures. My track 4 is the voiceover. My track 5 is the background music. So the first thing I would talk about is this in the beginning here. And what I have is an image in the track 1, and that image is fairly tall. It's got a lot of text on it, and so now I'm using the animated part of the zoom. Before I was showing you the static, this is the animated. So I can tell it the size of this box, and then I can tell it where to start that box and where I want it to end. So it's going to start here at the top and end where it's red. And again, I can dictate the rotation of that. If the image is a little crooked and I want to straighten that up by giving it a rotation, I got the size, the vertical of it, and so forth, that I've got control. Now, when you're looking at it, it scrolls down. You've got here in the upper left is the top of it. As it scrolls down, you'll see more of the content, and then the bottom right is the end of that image. And the speed in which it goes from top to bottom is based on the length of the clip that's in the track. So this clip here is about see, this is 30 seconds. This looks like 15 seconds. So it's roughly 18, 19 seconds long. So because of the length of it, this will scroll down fairly slow so that you can read it all. If I had that clip a little shorter here, it's going to zoom down that clip very quickly, and you're not going to be able to read it. So that's how you control the speed in which this animation is doing. The next part is this part here in the middle, and I've got 3 tracks because I have 3 images here. What I want to do is I want to rotate those images in and out. I don't want it to pop in 3 at once. I want one to fade out, a new one to fade in. I may go over here on the right, and after having that displayed for a few seconds, I may want the one on the right to fade out and a new one fade in. A few seconds later, I may want the middle one to fade out and a new one fade in, so that it kind of gives you an animated look and feel to it. So what I have here is I've selected one of the pictures. I've got a control here under the properties of that image, and I can tell it the position of that image. So for this particular one, I've told it that I want it to be 32.8 horizontal. So that's kind of far right there. And I want the vertical to stay 0 and the size of it to be 100%. All my images on this video related to these banners here are exactly the same. I've had the staff make them exactly the same to be consistent, so I didn't have to deal with that in the video. So that's why I'm at 100%, I'm at 0 vertical. The only thing I had to do is kind of offset it. So each one's kind of offset differently. I use the same value here. If it's this image here, I use the 32.8 on all images that are displayed in this position. This image here is displayed at a 0 position for the horizontal, and then this is going to be a minus position. But I keep track of this position on the left and the right, so that when I pop in the new image, I can tell it where that position is going to be, and it's going to be right over top of that one, and the transition is going to look seamlessly. So here's 3 images of that, where you can see where I'm transitioning over from one image to here. This one here on the right, top right, in the middle one's being transitioned from one image to another, and you know, the bottom image is showing you, you know, all 3 of them with no transition. So it's kind of showing you the effect that I use a lot on this. Another video that I use is picture in a picture, and I do that in this particular video here. Again, I've got a title, I've got the header video, I've got title, I've got pictures, I've got some video here, and then I have the video here and more video here, and some more pictures with the title at the end. I've got my voiceover, but I had to put the voiceover down 1 track because I need the picture over picture to be at the top. So the picture that's going to be over the base picture will be on the top, and my base picture will be on the 2nd track. So that's the order in which I've done it. So when you're looking at it, I think I got these out of order. So here's the picture on picture. So the bottom track is my background picture, which is this here. And then my picture in pictures is this in the corner here. Again, I've got position where I want it, the size that I want. And it's basically a zoomed up version of what he's doing with his hands and wrapping that copper around that glass. So, and then this is the actual tracks, the base picture with the picture in track 1. That's going to be the picture on picture. The other part of this, and I didn't highlight, but yeah, it's right in here. So this little area, it looks like a bunch of lines. That's actually about 90 pictures there. Between this video and that green bar, there's 90 pictures there. And what I've done is they're only displayed for about 0.01 of a second. And the reason for that is when I did the video and I had the individual that was doing this, I had him put the piece, after he cut all the glass for the template, I had him put the piece of glass, move his hand away, wait a few seconds, and then I had him put the piece, gradually move it one after another until he got to the position of where that template is. So you'll see the top 4 are the position it's moving to, and then the 2nd row on the middle left is the position where it ends up. Then the next one, you see another square coming in, and it's slowly moving down into another position. And toward the end, and I just jumped to the end because I had 90 of these, I have this triangle moving its way closer and closer to it. So when you run this through 90 pictures at 0.01, it's like stop motion, and it's continuously moving these pieces like they're moving by themselves. So that was a technique that I just created on my own. Thought it would add a little entertainment to the video. So that's what these pictures are down here, even though they're very small to see. I can move this bar here and zoom up on that when I'm in software. So even though I'm showing you the full clip in this picture, you can actually move this bar and get real close where each one of these are really wide, and you can control each one, and you can move that bar back and forth on your timeline to see, you know, maybe something in detail that you want to, you might want to split a video or a clip, and you might want to zoom in a little to move your mouse cursor to where you want it to split before you hit the split window. But I thought that was a pretty neat technique that I used. This video here is one of my, I belong to a radio control sailboat club, and I do a lot of videos on their YouTube channel. Actually, I think all the videos out there are mine. This is an example of a regatta that we had, and again, this is just video at the top and just music at the bottom on track 2. There's no voiceover or nothing, just music. And this is kind of the pictures, some of the pictures from the video. I'm using my drone on this. I'm flying over the water as they're sailing around, and I'm moving around the pond at different angles as they're sailing away from me. Sometimes they're sailing, I'm moving directly in parallel with them. Sometimes I'll be on the other end and they're coming toward me, and so forth. So I'm about 20 feet, 25 feet above the water. Some cases I'm only 15 feet above the water. So that was something that they enjoyed it when I got finished and put it out there on their YouTube. And you'd be surprised as the drone technology came around. I haven't seen a sailboat club yet that has not have a drone video now that it's been 5 years since drones come out, or about 6 years. So almost every club got some member that's got a drone, and they're capturing RC sailboats from a drone. It gives it a different perspective. Another perspective that I do is I put a camera on the top of my mast and of my boat, and then then it has a transmitter coming back to a receiver that's connected to my phone that has an app on it, and I can tell it to record it. So I start the recording of it. I do my sailing like I would any other time, you know, sailing in the club and racing, but I'm capturing the video. Now, our boats don't move that quick, and you know, each race may last 20 minutes. So in these particular videos, I really speed the video up just to knock it down to 14 minutes. But you can see some of the pictures, you know, it's kind of cockeyed. Well, my mask is leaning over because of the wind, and I'm going upwind on an angle, just like you can see here in the upper left where those boats are on an angle. Well, my camera is on the top of the mast. It's going to be on an angle too. So that's just another perspective of what I do with video and cameras and stuff. I thought it would be neat to show. This is another hobby of mine, is radio control airplanes as well as drones. This particular one, I have a camera mounted in the cockpit of my plane. It has a servo that moves left and right. So on my radio, I have a switch where I can look to the left or right by toggling that switch, and the camera will move to the left or right. I'm not actually looking at this plane when I'm flying it. I'm actually looking at the pictures that you're looking at when I'm flying. And I'm wearing goggles, so I'm looking at a screen in my goggles in order to fly this, just like you're seeing these pictures here. So these are just a few of the pictures from the video. And let's see here, this upper right one is when I did a flip and I'm upside down. So, and I'm flying upside down there for a few seconds as I was doing a roll. But this is at Wagerston Park off of Siebenthaler Road. We have an airfield back there behind the gardens. We also have a pond there where my RC boat club used to be before they moved down to Marine. So I thought that would be neat. It's kind of too bad I can't show you the actual video. What I like to do is send a link to Gladys and have her send it out to all the members, where I provide you a link to the YouTube channels of where I have my videos, my personal YouTube channel, my RC sailboat channel, as well as DMA YouTube channel, and my sailboat. So you can look at the videos related, as well as the K-12 YouTube channel. So you can see all the videos I've made and related to what we just talked about. Now, another thing that I've kind of do related to photos and videos is I use this tool called PTGui, and it's a photo stitching software. So I'll set up a tripod. In this example, at my airfield, I set up a tripod. I take a picture with my GoPro. I index the camera around 30 degrees, total of 360 degrees. So I get all these pictures. And every 30 degrees, I take a picture. After I went around it once at 30 degrees, I tilt the camera upward another 30 degrees. I do the same thing. I move it 30 degrees, take a picture. And then I point it all the way up to the sky and take a couple pictures there. Because I'm pointing straight up, I don't need, multiple pictures. Usually about 3 is enough. And then I bring these individual images into this software package, and it stitches them together. It's able to look at where these pictures are the same in the images, and you have control where you can also massage it if it doesn't come out right. You can stitch it manually, but I've really never had any trouble just doing it automatically. But it has a lot of capabilities. Like one time I had people moving around while I was taking the pictures, and a person would show up here and here and here in 3 different pictures. Well, when I stitch it together, he shows up 3 times. So in the stitching software, I can put an eraser on that individual in 2 of the pictures and leave them in 1. So when it stitches together, you don't see them 3 times. You only see them once. So it has some good features. Now, these pictures I captured from my camera, my viewer. So if you've ever been out to Google Streets and look down at Google Streets where you can pan around and look at things off the street, this works the same way. I can take, this is called a 360-degree panorama picture. It's actually a JPEG that when it was the end result, but it kind of looks really funny when you look at it because it doesn't look normal. But when you put it onto when you put it into Google Maps, and you can add your own Google pictures to Google Maps, Google Maps knows what to do with a panorama picture. So once you put it up there, and just like my viewer here that I captured these pictures from, I can actually, when I bring it up in the viewer as well as on Google Maps, I can zoom in and out on that panorama. I can move the mouse to the left or right and move around 360 degrees, just like you do in Google Streets. I can move it up and look at the sky and move it around. I can, like I said, I can zoom in and out as well. So it has its neat things to do it. One of the other things and reason I got that software is I did this particular panorama because my radio control simulator allows you to import a panorama. And when you do that, it's like flying your simulated plane in the software at your own airfield. So I share this with my club members, and you can pretend like you're actually there at the field and flying down that runway. It's very realistic. It's too bad I can't demonstrate that in Zoom, but I at least wanted to talk about the feature of what Panorama Picture looks like and what you can do with it. I used to have a couple of them out there on Google Maps, but they've been removed because of the way they did do things. And usually it used to be anonymously, and then someone created a little cartoon of a little cartoon pissing on an apple, and then they pasted it all over the United States. So someone didn't like it, I guess, at Apple, and Google kind of changed the way they do things. Yeah, if you post these kind of pictures or panorama, it's associated to your Gmail account, so they can track who you are. So that's one example. I can do the exact same thing with my drone. My drone has a feature where I can tell it, give me a panorama at one horizontal view, and say, it'll give me 5 pictures from left to right in going around a 360. I can tell it to do a whole 360 and give me all the pictures. And I can also tell it, give me a 360 by 180. That means go around 360 once, tilt the camera down a little, go around again, tilt it down a little more, go around again, and until you got all the way at the bottom. So here I'm looking all the way out. I'm at the same airfield. I've zoomed in here in the upper left, and you can see downtown Dayton. If you look here on the upper right, you can see the downtown Dayton that's not zoomed up. So, and it's all 4K. My camera on my drone is all 4K, so it looks pretty good. But it's really neat to put that out there on YouTube, and people go out to on Google Maps, people go out to that location, and you could select that image. When you zoom down on our field, it'll pop up in the lower right along with other images. You select that, and then you could just move your mouse around and look at that in a whole 360 perspective. This is also an airfield over here in the upper right picture. On the far right, bottom right corner is toward Riverside Drive. In the lower left corner, this is North Dixie Drive. So the tornado came diagonally right across our field from this image on the lower right, from the upper left of that image all the way to the lower right of that image, which came across here on over to Traffic Circle. All these woods are all gone now, from the backside of that pond all the way over to here. There's other parts of this field that got destroyed. All of our stuff got destroyed there. So that's basically some of the video stuff that I do and what I wanted to show. I also wanted to indicate that if you go out to the DMA website, we've got a footer at the bottom. It's got 4 icons. From right to left, you've got the meetup icon that takes you to meetup. The next one is in LinkedIn, takes you out to the LinkedIn DMA website. The next one on from right to left is Facebook, and the far left one here with the red and the little arrow button, that's the YouTube channel. So if you select that, it'll open up another tab where you can go out to our YouTube channel. I've created several videos on how to do things. This is a tool that I constantly use all the time, whether I'm cropping images or selecting images off the screen. I have a video on how to use these 2 tools. The snipping tool there on the left is been around since Windows Vista, I believe. The snip in Sketch is now a new one. It's eventually going to replace the snipping tool. Does the same exact thing, but you can do a little more with the snip in Sketch. You can do cropping there. Once you capture what you want, you can then crop it. before you save it or share it or copy it into a document. The one on the left, the snipping tool, will eventually go away in the future of Windows 10. I don't know when, but I do talk about both of them. They're both available in Windows 10 today, but that's a really good video to go watch out on the DMA website. I've also created another video out there, and this is really to educate people about the online courses that you can get through Lynda, through your Montgomery County or Greene County library. So if you got a library card at either Montgomery County or Greene County, you can go out and go into lynda.com and have access to all these tools to learn things, software and everything. So if you don't have a library card at either place, you can either go online and get one. It doesn't cost anything. As long as you live in the state of Ohio, you can get a library card to any library in the state of Ohio, as long as you're a resident in Ohio. You don't have to belong to the county to get that particular library card. And another one I created is Google Apps. If you got a Gmail account and you've not used any Google Apps, there are a lot of Google Apps out there that you have access and you just may not know it. So this is kind of an introduction to show you some of those apps that you may not know that you have. So, and that's the end of my presentation. So Edwin has his presentation related to the video editing software that he uses.
I know I told you to introduce, Mark, I know I told you to introduce Ed, but if we could just follow up on yours real quick. Both software packages, the last two software packages you talked about were within Windows 10. And the earlier software package, could we get the name of that and the RAM requirements of that too, please?
You mean of the stitching software?
No, the one before stitching. Video.
Oh, the
Pinnacle Studio.
Yeah. The Pinnacle Studio.
Are you talking about the editing software?
Yes, editing software.
Yeah, I can send a link to Gladdy of the product websites, and you can go out there and look at the product itself and requirements from their website. And I'll include the YouTube videos in where I have a lot of my YouTube videos created. And if Gladdy wants to share that with the members after the meeting, then I'll prepare that while Edwin's doing his, and she can send it out after the meeting to the members.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. Good
Is
presentation.
that okay with you, Gladdy? I don't see Gladdy.
Yeah, I see Gladdy nodding.
Maybe.
I see Gladdy nodding. I think we're okay.
Okay. I'll send her a link along with the YouTube videos.
Okay, Gladdy, you're unmuted now, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks again, Mark. Good presentation, and thank you again for improving our website dramatically.
Yeah, it took a little longer than I expected.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah,
we're not finished yet. And by the way, Mark is looking for someone to assist him with the website. This gives you a chance to learn a lot about WordPress. So if anybody interested, I'm sure that he can talk to you about it on on the phone or through Zoom, through the DMA Zoom account. Another possibility would be
send an email to webmaster at DMA1.
That'll work too. That'll work. All right. Thank you. Edwin, did you have anything else, Mark?
No. Any questions?
Yeah, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Wanda. I'm a system engineer. I thought I'd do something different for this COVID lock-in. I work on the base and I do different things. So I thought I'd try something different. And I picked this meeting. I actually wanted to see the Linux meeting last week, but nobody sent me a link. They just sent me an invitation. And so I sent like 2 or 3 messages tonight about your meeting. No one's sending me a link. They just send invitations. That's nice, but it would be nice to actually drop in and see what they're doing. As they're beginning to go back to work, I suppose I won't have a whole lot of time. They can be busy now. Strange enough, they're on lockdown, but we have work to do. The base is always open. Someone's always there. We have projects we have to do, or the government will be paying penalties, and they don't want to do that. But this was interesting. I did have some background in some film editing. I took some electives at school. I went to the University of Illinois, among others. So it seems pretty cool. I like the idea about the drone. I kind of do that a little bit. But I'll, if it's okay, drop in and out just from time to time, see what's going on. You guys seem like you got a regular schedule of events, so it'd be nice. Thank you for letting me kind of pop in on your meetings.
Have you been out? Have you been out?
you.
Have you been out to the website?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't. They just have a lot of calendar events and a lot of events there, but no links. So that's why I kept sending all those in and say, all right, well, how do I get to this meeting?
Check on the SIGs. The menu has SIGs. And if you follow that link, you should be able to find all our links to our different groups.
Okay.
That would be inside the box, right? Inside the box on the right-hand side of the main page?
No, on the main page, the menu at the top of the screen. It's Home, About, Newsletter, Meetings, and SIGs. And if you hit SIGs and go down the list, it'll give you a list of all the SIGs. And you can, some of them have their own website, like DMA Linux User Group has their own website. And I believe the link to their meetings is, there we go, it's on the website.
Okay.
So next time you want to go, and it's not always posted very far in advance, but if you go to the meeting, go to the website, check it maybe a day or two before the meeting, you should be able to find it.
Okay. Well, I mean, let's give me a chance to do something different. We check it out. Thank you.
You're always welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
All our meetings are free to, of course, to members, but also to guests. But if you like what we're doing, you're welcome to become a member, and you automatically get the links to our general meetings. And depending upon your participation in SIGs, they may send you Zoom links on from those SIGs too.
I'm just curious because I'm originally spent most of my life in California. I got a promotion to come out the right path. Are most of you people, are everyone here local? And you seem like you, especially with this guy with the drone and the boats, my goodness. Were you, most of you at some point previous base members or something? Because you got a good skill set. So I imagine, you know, the base would probably, you could had spent some time there at some point, or you're in the Air Force or something, previous Air Force.
Just a bunch of hobbies.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm impressed. Thank you so much.
Thank you for contributing, Wanda, and participating. We appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you.
Edwin, you're up, man.
Is this application called PowerDirector? Is that what you're doing?
This is called, what is, no, wrong one. Yeah, PowerDirector. It is by CyberLink. And I'm showing you a camera that you can't, oh yes, here it is, if you can see it, but this is the box. You can see on my camera that's at the top of my screen. It may not be at the top of yours, but it is here. And it doesn't have the overhead of a lot of the other programs, which is why I like. But as you can see, I have different pictures, and you know, you can probably see here it's the Outer Banks. I was to this place called the Wave Classic, and so I have a bunch of pictures, a bunch of videos, and I basically made a music video out of it. And what this does is it starts with different pictures. As you can see here, this is one of the, oh, here, I guess we're, oh, here's one of the first pictures that is, let me hit just the forward, so go into this next picture here a little bit. But as you can see, this is what I was seeing when I came up on the outfit, and you can see the kites in the sky. So this is all kites, different things like that. Now the main thrust here, this right here shows your editing point. If you can see this right here, all the different, here you've got an FX, which is, you know, special effects basically. Here you've got, and something I haven't really even used, but it's templates, actions all over the place, content. Here you've got different, another special effects. Here you've got text. This gives you fade in and outs. Here you can handle your different audio tracks. Here you have your microphone, it goes down, and down in here now, what's nice about this with the audio, which I found rather interesting today, it's a very basic program, and it doesn't do, I've used Pinnacle Studio, I like it a little bit better. In the video track and audio track here, you see the effects down here, the video track, the audio track, title track, voice track, and music track. Now the voice track, I'm hoping you can see on the bottom here. It's weird because let me get escape here. Okay, that way I can, when I'm looking over here and talking, I can see my things coming through. The music track is what I do to hold this whole thing together. And you can see here, when I hit the play now, this is basically my title track. So when I hit and play this, it's actually pulling that, the Kite Wave classic piece up into the fold on this whole thing. So as you can see, I've done like a mirroring on there. And if you actually go in here, now you can open this and edit the title bar. And what that gives you is you've got different things. You've got your object, effect, and motion that you can handle during this. As you can see, it's just a single little short piece in the title track. So when you're going in, you can edit this. And the effect is, you can see from the font, face, shadow, border, and reflection here, you've got all different things that you can do to change it. You can have an effect that comes in, and you can choose different effects. You can have a balloon effect or a beam in effect or something like that. And you can go and look at this and not change it. All you have to do is come over here and hit cancel, but you've got basically a major box here to play with, and you can really manipulate that one piece on your title track, and that runs in sync with your video and your audio. I'm just going to hit cancel because I do not want to save any changes to that. I've already gotten that the way I want. And if you look down here, you can see that I've got a bar to the right hand side. It may be, no, I can just barely see it beyond where my videos are, but in moving this up and down, you can get to any of these effects. So if you've got it loaded down like Mark did, and I'm only using about 3 or 4 tracks total on this. I'm just sort of starting to work on this. So I have not loaded it down as like he has. Most of the projects I have, I've edited long ago. I haven't, I've been working on a book, so I haven't really been doing a lot of editing in the last few years. But when you get into here, you will see that, let's see, I want to go back to my editing things here and just sort of show you how easy this is to change things up. Now, the main timeline here, as you can see, I can move it all along. So any place along here, I decide, okay, see, here's here's an effect. Let's say I want to change it, and I can see that it's got these little wavy bars through here. I've decided I don't like this, and I want to change these throughout the video. And instead of, deciding, well, which one do you want to do? I actually found some today, so I started changing some of these up. And just to make sure I could use the program. This is a new program to me. I haven't used it very much. It doesn't do one thing that I really needed to do, so I'm probably gonna have to get Pinnacle Studio or Adobe or something like that can actually, because I've got an old project that needs a color correction, and I cannot find it anywhere in here. It may be, but I haven't found it yet. You can have a lot of things in these programs you don't find, and that's what makes this moving from one program to another. It may take you a while to find that one effect that you're looking for, and it would most likely be in the FX, and I didn't spend that much time today looking for it, so it may be in here. I just have not yet found it. I don't like the way this program handles some of the audio buttressing effects. I can't seem to move the tracks so they overlap easily. And if you're doing a lot of editing, that's one thing you really need to be able to do is handle. I worked on major motion pictures and mostly episodic TV shows. And so I learned to edit along these techniques. And if you'll hear a door open before the video of that scene ever comes in, and it helps, and you start hearing the footsteps and the walking, and then all of a sudden you see the video. So it's an overlapping of audio that you're actually going to have in a lot of TV episodic shows that you're watching. So the overlapping ability of audio is really something you want. The fact that this doesn't, I've got two audio tracks, so there are ways to do it, but now you've got to move your audio to a different section. If you'll notice, the one thing that Mark had was all of those tracks were audio and video, so you could put audio or video in any track, whereas here I'm limited. Certain tracks are just audio and certain tracks are just video. And I do have the ability to do 2 video tracks and 2 audio, or 3 audio tracks, I think. 4 audio tracks: voice track, music track, the title track, the audio track, the video track, and these all run synonymously with each other, or in sync with each other. But I've decided, okay, I want to change this effect from one photo to the next, right? So I come in here and I actually look for an effect and go, oh, okay, I want to use the water droplets or the wave. I've decided I'm going to replace all these A's with that, and I haven't found a way to do it in mass yet. And I do want to sort of do at least a bunch of them, but basically all you have to do is to grab one, and as you can see, it just changed. So I can go in here and do the wave ripple and do that on the next A. These effects I liked, so it didn't bother me. And as you can see, these guys are playing around with kiteboarding, which is a hobby of mine. And they're actually on real surfboards. So as you can see there, this is a competition. And so I have this whole thing set up, and this is our hobbies and what we like to do, or what we end up doing. And you can see the guy flying through the air, and he's got the kite pulling him in the air and everything like this. And when you actually hit now this, you can see, I don't know if you probably can't see that, but it was basically just a wave that moved one. All these are still photos here. I'm running about 4 seconds a piece, 4 to 6 seconds. I need to cut them down all to about 3 seconds a piece, and I'm going to do that in mass here in a little bit. But as you can see, it's very easy to change things as you go along. It really is not that hard to, like, let's say I want to put a water droplet in there, and boom, it's done. It's very easy to go into certain sections of this program, and as you can see, this is your effects or transitioning effect here from one picture to the next. And you can use this on video also. It does not have to be just stills, but I had stills and video that I took. So, and Mark and I found that we really couldn't play the video and you could see it. So sorry about that, but we can't really show that. Whereas if we had a live presentation, we could run the video and show you how these things change and how they work. Here, you can't really see it as easily, but we're sorry about that, but definitely wanted to, so you can put things into my favorites. I haven't, because you can see I have not really done that yet. Custom, I have nothing in custom. Downloadable things doesn't change here, but here's your title track. So if you want to move now and do a title system, and I do have a title at the end of this whole program that I ended up just doing today. And let's take a look at that. As you can see right here, we've got, you can see I've got video and audio running to the end there. And here, oh, here it is. And so right here, what I'm trying to do, this is my, the final title. And I even, it's like with this, there's another title here. This one's actually, I finished up today. And this is fairly easy to do. As you can see, you know, we're back to the title like I showed you at the beginning. We have an object, the effects, and motion. This was already one of the effects from up here. All I did was pick it. And you can see you got different ones you can choose. But it gives you a nice little section here to just go and do anything you want. I changed the font face and the border. I don't have a reflection here like I did on the title going into this piece. This is just me doing, you know, who this was and you know how this, you know, I've got all the kite surfers in the Outer Banks, because I did this on the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And I used music by Delbert McClinton, J.J. Cale, and Jorma Kokkonen. So it's like it's something that's fun. You can watch it, take your time, and just have it on in the background and see basically people playing around on kiteboards. And it's a fun little thing to watch. It's not like it's anything great, but it definitely it gives you ideas as to what to do and how to do it. As far as if you're into kiteboarding, it might show you some techniques that people use and what they can actually do on these kiteboards in an ocean setting. And these guys are, if you notice, they were using real surfboards, not their normal boards that you strap to your feet that most people have to use. These guys are really talented. I was blown away when I saw this. I just sort of went there on a lark. I just happened to be there at the time, and I definitely want to go back because those guys were definitely amazing. Here, this shows different effects, and you know, if you want to modify it, it has a template. So if you want to go in, you can open these different templates up and you can see what they do. It doesn't really, you know, it's not that hard. Down here, you know, you're going into, oh, here, yeah, this is one thing I wanted to go into too. And so as you can see here, this is my audio track. Now, one thing that I did with the audio, when you edit your audio, another dialog box comes up, just like you normally get. Here's an audio trim, and you can see here, because the video is ended, so I decided I had to cut it off at a certain point. and I give it about a second after my video goes blank. But as you can see here, I could probably get it exactly online, but I wanted to make sure it went as long as I could. And so you can see down here, you've got this. And when I went in, I was finally able to use this right here as it marks out. That gives me a point where now it cut the audio track down to the length that I wanted. And down here, as you will see, there's a line right here along the bottom. Now that's your level. So what I did was I put it right here. I put a little mark, and it shows you basically, with your control, you put your mouse over top of it, hit control, and you can change any of these little functions here. Let's see if I can. Oh yeah, I can't do it right now. Hold on, let's close this. I'm going to cancel this out because I've already done that. I don't want to change it. But if I go down here, and now you see it's giving me a little red dot. So I could put the volume up or down, but by putting the volume down, it slowly fades out and ends the video. So it makes a clean way of getting away from being in the middle of a song and having to go away. And so it gives you different ways to finish up. As you can see here, you've got the different audio tracks, voice, music, audio 1 and audio 2. So if you want to do a voiceover, I've got one thing that I would like to add some voice to. So this would be perfect for that. When you don't need a lot of editing on, your home videos and things like this. It's one of the most widely used things. It doesn't have as much overhead as Pinnacle Studio or Adobe Premiere, things like that give you a lot more tools. But it did this whole thing for me in about, when I originally started this out last year or the year before, when I tried to put this together, it did this all for me in about 20 to 30 minutes through a different way, a different system. What I'm going to do here is, well, no, I can't do that easily. Let's go here. I'm going to just save this project, and it doesn't take long. As you can see here, anything that I've done, or it's changing, and now I can watch this on my own. But if I now want to open something else, I can open another project. And let's go here. Now see, this was Wave Classic 15. And is there one of the other ones that I could open up here? Which is that? This PC, I'm in the right area. Videos. Oh, okay. Well, okay. Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm going to cancel this because this is the wrong way to do this. For here now, I'm going to have to go File, Import. When you're starting a project, you need to import the whole thing. So download from, let's go Media Files. Oh, it's not letting me do it right now. Let's see, can I close this project? New project. Okay, there we go. So get rid of that. We'll go in here to import. Now it'll let me do it. The media files. And you can see here I've got a few choices that I set up from this yesterday. Let's see if I can remember which one this is. Oh, I know this actually won't be a bad one. This will be an interesting thing. And this is sort of what, this is just something I recorded off air. It happened back when the Rodney King incident happened. And the neat part about this, it's tracked, let's see, I'm gonna move this down into a video track. Oh, let's go here. Yes, okay. And it looks like it automatically handled most everything for me. And so, let's see how long this is. This is basically just a concert that was on the air to keep people in their houses, sort of like they're doing now to us. But it had all the big names from back in the early 90s. So it was a fun thing to watch. I don't know if people remember who that is. I should know. They introduce these people as they come up. But here's David Bowie. I don't know if I can actually get a close-up of him. I'm seeing it. There we go. Oops. But different people. And you can see it even these days, it still looks pretty good. Let's go back here, try this once again, see if I can stop it on time so you can see David Bowie's face. There we go. He's smoking a cigarette, and this is just something that I captured from off air. And now you can manipulate it, edit it, do things that you want to with it. I did a recording from a unit that I have that basically just takes videotape and puts it on disk. Brought the disk over here to the computer, and it takes a program like this to really pull that off of the DVD once you've transformed it over to that, because it's a little hard to play a cassette recorder into your computer unless you have a way to do it. So somehow you've got to get it into the computer. And this is like if you've got old tapes of, you know, family reunions and everything else, you still need to somehow get it into your computer. You either need a video capture card or you need a way to transfer it from your video into a digital format, because most of these old VCRs were all analog. It was not a digital format, never was. But it, you know, there's different ways to do different things, but I'm just trying to show you. And I've got a lot of my old projects on VCR tape, so I'm trying to now get it all back into the computer so I can watch it going forward. And a program like this is actually very good for something like that. Any question?
Okay, I'm looking at the chat. Don't see any chat questions here. Ed, what are we talking about? RAM memory minimum?
Let's see, what does this say? I mean, I've got only 8 gigabytes on this, so it really doesn't take that much. Let me see if I can you hear me, or can I hear you? Peter, try to say something.
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've got these off. With this little light, I don't know if I can see the operating system. Resolution, memory, 2 gigabytes of memory is the requirement on this, which is nice. And as I say, it handles normally under Pinnacle Studio, when I get done with the project, you can see how quickly this saved this. Under Pinnacle Studio, it usually takes me 3 to 5 hours to render something once you're done working on it. With this, it takes 10 to 20 minutes for still an hour-long project, which is amazing. When you think of all the video rendering you're doing from the special effects adding and everything else, this program is really streamed down. It does not take the overhead that Pinnacle Studio and Adobe Premiere and all these other programs take. It really, I'm impressed with how good it is with having certain limitations. So for the average user, if you're trying to save money and your machine is 4 to 8 gigabytes, if you don't have a 32 gigabyte machine, it's a very good program, which is why I put it on this old computer. And it's got a lot of my old projects, which I'm trying to clean up and get ready to do. But I thought it would be a good way to just see if something like this would be the way something to use going forward. And I have thoroughly enjoyed it. As I say, I do notice the limitations in certain areas, which drives me a little batty when you're trying to finesse things. But for the most part, I have really enjoyed this.
My computer, I'm using a laptop that's an i7 4th generation and 8 gig of RAM. And I'm normally able to do anything I want. Processing time just may take a little longer because the processor and memory is a lot lower than the newer machines, but it still works fine.
Yeah, I think when I started using Pinnacle Studio, I only had a dual, a Pentium D kind of era. It was before the quad cores came out. It was still that 775 era, but it was before the quad cores had happened, so I didn't have that yet. I did have about 4 gigabytes, 2 to 4 gigabytes of memory, because I'd moved away from my dual 133 motherboard.
Ed, we have a question here from Kathleen in the chat. It says, Edwin, if you were going to start to do videos such as editing family videos plus doing some educational videos, would you start with PowerDirector or Pinnacle?
If you're trying to save money, I would go with PowerDirector. If you're a really good editor and want more things, you're going to be limited. So I would say go to Pinnacle Studio or something a little bit where you can do some more finessing. Because this has certain limitations, but I've already edited most of my projects, so I don't need that much. It would be nice to be able to put some titling at the front and the end so that people know when this was done and this kind of thing. But
Edwin?
Yeah?
Are you finished with your presentation?
Yes, yes.
Can you stop sharing so we can see everyone else?
Oh, yes.
I do have a different opinion on, for her, if she wants to start, I would suggest going out to the DMA YouTube. You can find that on the DMA website at the footer, and go out to our YouTube channel. We do have a video on Microsoft Photos and Video. My Windows 10 Photos allows you to create your own video photos using pictures and videos. You can add music to it. You can change the theme. You can pretty much do what you've seen us do. It's all included as part of the Windows software. So that would be the starting point if you've not got into anything, and I would start there first. And because once you understand that concept, all these other more expensive, are the same methodology. So for I don't know who was speaking or asking the question.
It was Kathleen on through chat.
Oh, she's not in the video?
There she is. She's waving.
Okay. Yeah, I would start with if you got Windows 10, go out to under the menu, go down to photos and start there, where you can create videos from your existing photos and videos. But if you go out to our DMA YouTube channel, I have a video out there that will give you the introduction to get started and how to use it. Okay.
Yeah, as I say, my big thing with PowerDirector is that, you know, if you're doing basic things, it's a very good program. You know, I don't know if you've had to set up your CD or Blu-ray or, you know, DVD players, but CyberLink is a lot of times the program that you're loading to control your, you know, CD, DVD, Blu-ray disc on your computer if you've got a Windows machine. And so they do a very good job of the basic editing, and it handles the editing so quickly. It's an advantage there, because if you don't want to spend 3 to 5 hours for the thing to render, or it may be down to 1 to 2 hours now, but the one thing that Mark had mentioned to me, it does take a time to render the whole thing. And this is the real advantage that PowerDirector has. The one thing that I did notice on the software, it's the #1 choice for video editors. And if you're doing a lot of video and you're having to get it done quickly, and you're not really doing a lot of weird audio and video editing and, you know, things like that, and you still have a lot of choices there. I mean, I'm not using it all because I shoot good video. I want to see the video that I've done. I don't really want to put a lot of special effects on it. I'm usually trying to figure out how long to, you know, make the stills if I'm doing a slideshow, or I'm not compressing the video like Mark was doing with his stuff, but I haven't been, you know, trying to do educational videos either. So most of my work has been in, you know, episodics and things where you've got actors. And I mean, I even have a acting class that I found, and I've transferred it over. Nobody wants to see that. But it's it's a good, cheap, quick way of getting it onto the digital format.
I didn't talk about the other things that I use, the other tools, just because they weren't exactly related to video, but I use GIMP a lot, which is free, open source imaging software. I use Handbrake a lot, where I'll export my video out, then I'll take it into Handbrake and compress the video to be smaller in size without losing the quality. I also use a package called Inkscape. So, but you know, that's up and beyond what today's presentation was, but I do use a lot of different imaging and video software.
Cool. Any other questions? I don't see anybody's hands, and I don't see anything on the chat. So does anybody else have any other comments, any brain trust requests, anything like that?
May I have an audio check?
Okay, Mike?
Good.
Mike, was it Mike that was just speaking?
No, it was Bill Taylor.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. Go ahead, Bill.
I just wanted an audio check. I've been having some trouble with my microphone, so I wanted to make sure that I was coming through okay.
You're
I can
doing
hear you
good.
fine.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good to me. It's a little rattled. It's like there's plastic. I don't know if you ever put saran wrap over your phone or over a microphone. I'm hearing a little bit of that.
Oh, a
Ed,
little
Ed,
rattle.
you probably know, Ed, what the correct terminology for that is.
Well, as long as you can hear me, I'm happy.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
Hear you. Yeah.
We hear you loud and clear.
Well, this was an action-packed meeting. We had quite a bit covered in this meeting, and we appreciate it. You all attending and being here. Keep in mind, we'll probably edit it down just by a bit to keep it. We'll take out some pieces probably. And Ed and Mark, where would you like me to send this this edited version?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ed.
Okay. Doesn't matter to me.
Well, let Edwin have it because it's going to be too large and I won't edit a 2-hour meeting.
Okay, all right. I'll send it to you, Ed, then. And,
Sounds good.
If you can, as I requested before, if you could make it 2 parts at least. 2 parts
Okay.
would be the first part would be the meeting announcements and news and tech news, and then the second one would be the presentation for both you and Mark.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Y'all, both Mark and Ed, you did a terrific job on this presentation. I appreciate you putting it together rather quickly. I'm sorry, and just so everybody else knows, Ed and Mark knew this a week ago today, that I was having these problems, or maybe a week, maybe less than a week today. But,
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we
appreciate
didn't-
putting it
Thanks, guys.
together.
Are you
Yeah,
going to be
thanks.
out of the nursing home by the next meeting?
I will not. I will not. So if there's going to be another meeting that's not Zoom for everybody, it'll be Zoom for me. So, and that's some technology we're going to have to work out. I want a hybrid meeting because our meetings have brought in some people that that our in-person meetings have not. So, and I think we can do even better with this. The Zoom portion of the meeting. I think we can even attract more people. I wasn't able to do any publicity on this at all, and I'm sorry that probably is evidenced by the fewest number of people we've had so far in a Zoom meeting, I think. But Mike Stock, did you have a question?
I was one, Ed, when
Yeah.
the bottom of your screen was being cut off, so I was wondering if you could show a window versus the full screen when you're doing that presentation part.
The bottom of the screen was what?
Look, the audio section, the track down there at the very bottom was pretty much cut off, it looked like.
Oh.
Shown, and so I was wondering if you could
I could
show
see it
from a
on
window versus from the full screen might let us see it.
I could try to reshare again. On my laptop, I could see everything. So are you sure it may not be that your screen is maybe a little off
Yeah,
or something?
I thought I saw the audio section on my screen well enough.
I just saw the top part of it, it looked like.
Did the presentation look good that I did? I mean, were you able to see the full view of the presentation?
Yeah, I think yours is fine, Mark.
Okay.
But I wish the mouse pointers were larger when you were doing that presentation because it's hard to track what you're pointing at.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a delay there also probably.
Right.
I'm going to try to do this again. I'm just going to put the share up real quick, and so see if maybe if there's something on your what can you not see? Is my question, I guess. When I went to the audio track here,
can
Right.
see. I can.
Well, wait a minute. What can you not see is there anybody here who cannot hear me? You know?
Yeah, well, that's.
Yeah.
Oh, and that doesn't have any audio tracks. So actually, the audio should have been. I'm not.
Well, we were able to see it on the earlier audio tracks, but not on the later ones.
Now I can see I can see the voice track before, but now the music track popped up for a minute there and then went away again.
Interesting.
So that got cut
I
off.
put it back up, and I'm looking at the voice track as the last one that I see,
That's the last one I see.
and that's.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
Did you-
is it blocked by that bottom bar with all the icons on it?
Yes,
The music?
somebody else just put up a message that if the Zoom bar is gone.
Oh.
Yeah, I've never learned how to minimize that.
Yeah, maybe we should mention that to Zoom. At
Well,
least I
tell you
know how to get out of the meeting now, or to stop sharing. So I couldn't figure that out at first. I didn't realize there was a bar up top. So sorry about that. It's my first time actually sharing and going on.
Well, there's a good chance that our next meeting will be about Microsoft Teams. We'll let you know either way, of course. And if we can lock it down to Microsoft Teams early enough, it'll be advertised well. So we'll have quite a few people. Members, I would log in as early as possible. So members log in at 6:30. Guests log in at 6:45, and the meeting starts at 7. So, anybody else have any other questions?